Does it matter what day a Christian esteems? Does it matter what day we worship? Does God care whether we worship Him on Saturday or Sunday, Thursday, Wednesday? As long as we worship God, does it matter to God what day of the week we keep? Well, when we read the Ten Commandments, He said, remember the seventh day Sabbath. Romans chapter 4. And that's where we're going to go. Romans chapter 14. Romans chapter 14. Romans chapter 14. And let's read verse 5. Let's read verse 5. It says here, one man esteemeth one day above another, another esteemeth every day alike. Let every man be fully persuaded in his own mind. So, according to Ray Comfort, this means the Sabbath doesn't have to be kept on Saturday. It doesn't matter what day you esteem. You could esteem Saturday, you could esteem Sunday, you could esteem any day you like. God is just telling us to worship Him. It doesn't matter what day we esteem. And there's one problem with that interpretation of this scripture that we have. Where in the context is it talking about the Sabbath? The Sabbath is nowhere mentioned in this chapter. So how could Paul be talking about the Sabbath here where nowhere is the Sabbath even mentioned? So what is mentioned? What is the reason why Paul is saying one esteemeth one day over another? What were they bickering about? Let's go to verse 1. Let's read verse 1 of chapter 14. It says, him that is weak in the faith receive ye, but not with doubtful disputations, which means opinions. Verse 2, for one believeth that he may eat all things, another who is weak eateth herbs. Verse 3, let not him that eateth despise him that eateth not, and let not him which eateth not judge him that eateth, for God hath received him. So Paul is saying, stop it with your voices of opinion. Stop it with you're all new to the faith, and you have different opinions, and you're bickering against each other. Listen, if he wants to fast, let him fast. If he chose this day to fast, let him fast on that day. If he wants to eat on this day, let him eat on this day. The feast days. If you want to keep the Passover on this day, go ahead, keep it. If you want to keep this feast day, it has to deal with food. This chapter is dealing with food. It is not dealing with the Sabbath day of rest. If it was talking about the Sabbath, it would have said the Sabbath, the seventh day, the holy day of God. It would have said something about the Sabbath. It does not say nothing about the Sabbath. It is talking about food. They're arguing and bickering about the Mosaic law and which day should they fast, which day should they not fast, and they're bickering against each other. And Paul's saying, listen, stop it with your vain opinions. Stop it with your vain opinions. You're all new to the faith. Study, continue to study to show thyself approved, and you will see that you don't have to keep the Passover. Christ was our Passover sacrifice for us. The commandments of God, the Ten Commandments, they are not opinions. They are commandments. Thou shalt not kill. That is not an opinion. That is a commandment. Remember the Sabbath day. That is not an opinion. That is a commandment. Here Paul's talking about opinions. He's not talking about commandments. And nowhere in this chapter is the Sabbath in the context. Nowhere is it found here. So to say that this is talking about the Sabbath is also debunked.